Hey everybody, welcome to etrailer.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the Yakima LongHaul 4x rack carrier here on the back of our 2015 Grand Design reflection fifth wheel. So guys, if you've gone a way of going ahead and bringing your bikes on those long destinations for yourself, the LongHaul definitely going to be one of your first options for it. What's awesome about this guy, it has been designed specifically to be on your fifth wheels and motorhomes. What's going to be great about that, right, or why that is necessary, we are pretty far from that rear axle, right, on our fifth wheel. So we're going to have a lot of pressure coming down, and any weight we start adding to the very back end of our RV is really going to start really feeling the force of that pressure being so far extended from our axle. Not to mention we're adding weight right on the back of our fifth wheel, and so we're going to have a little bit of a dip there too. So this guy has been rated to go ahead and be on these big fifth wheels and motorhomes. You guys can see here, this welded plate here at the bottom has given us that nice solid support to go ahead and support our carrier. Definitely going to have no trouble with this guy hanging on the back here of your RV or your motorhome, which is great. Or like we have it here today on the fifth wheel. So that's awesome for ourselves. Now we do have a 37.5 pound weight capacity rating for each of our bikes here, meaning you're going to have an A-OK time getting most of your bikes you want to your destination. Now that's putting you well within range for most of your standard road bikes and up into that mountain bike range, of course. Now the one thing to take note of here, we do have 3 points of frame contact, so not going to be great for your carbon frame bikes. They will end up warping and deteriorating on the back here, especially being the back of a fifth wheel. You're going to have a lot of little motion there, so that could definitely start doing a number on those carbon frame bikes. The other thing to look out for, if you have any women's bikes, step-through bikes, or kids' bikes, you may need to end up getting a bike adapter bar because you need this nice little horizontal contact here, right, to go ahead and get a nice flush mount on here. Sometimes, too, if you have somewhat of an irregular horizontal frame, your bike starts hanging off kind of willy-nilly, kind of all over, and that becomes really hard to maintain, especially get 4 bikes up on here. So a bike adapter bar for any of those kind of issues is going to be excellent to go ahead, bring your bike back in line, and make sure you have a nice, easy way to go ahead and transport your bikes. Now, the cradles themselves here utilize Yakima zip strip technology. All these guys do pop right up. Once you place your bike in, you just bring it right down. It'll start clamping on. You can see the cradles themselves have nice little air pockets here in the middle, giving you just a little bit of shock absorption, and that rubber itself does a great job of holding on there. At the top of the zip strip also has a little bit of rubber to go ahead and make sure we don't have any damage being done to our frame or our bike, which is great. On the front here, too, you are seeing Yakima's tested true bottle openers, of course, so you can enjoy your favorite beverage at any point. We also have the little locking pin right here for our locking core. So all we have to do, guys, loop this through all 4 of our bikes, plug it in, and therefore nobody's going to be able to remove anything, which is going to be awesome. You can go ahead and access that here in the back, which is kind of nice. It's right there. You know where it's going to be every time. Doesn't take too much time to go ahead and get it back in position, which is great for ourselves. Well, we can go ahead and actually take this bike off. To do so, I just simply want to take out my zip strips. To do that, I just hold on to those levers on the side, guys. Allow myself to release those. Now, the one thing I will say about the zip strips, a couple things for maintenance-wise. If you find yourself only using maybe your 1 or your 2 bikes, maybe it's you and the spouse that's going out, and you guys only kind of use these 2 predominantly unless you take the rest of the family, highly recommend swapping these guys around. If you find yourself utilizing 1 point of contact, just over time, you know, that's a lot of movement on there, so it can be nice to go ahead and swap them around. And if you're really worried about the weather, go ahead and put them in a baggie or somewhere on the inside until you're ready to use it. Now, it'll be holding up A-OK on there. I've just seen some people like to keep a little bit of that weather out of your zip strips when you're not in use. And the other thing, of course, make sure you're taking good track of them, knowing where you're putting them. They are a small little part, so they're easy to lose. But to go ahead and get our bike off all the way, all I got to do, take that off of our sway control here. And I'm kind of glossing over this, but I don't know why I am, because this is an awesome little guy right here. So let me go ahead and re-add this for ourselves really quick, guys. To do that, I'm just simply going to put my zip strip in place, start running these guys through. Let me go ahead and squeeze over a little bit here, guys. Kind of right where I want to be. Sorry about that. So we can go ahead and bring that in line here. And just to give you guys an idea of how this works. Sorry for going at kind of attacking you here. Right in your way. But this guy simply latches on right there, and what that does, not as easy to show here as we have the rest of the contacts removed, but what that's really going to do is reduce this sway, right? So when you get 4 bikes up on here, you're going to have a lot of contact, you're going to have a lot of movement on your bikes. This really does reduce it. Now, it's not going to completely eliminate it. You're always going to have shake, you're always going to have play, but this is really going to keep your bikes from really building up momentum too, right? Because we're lowering that side-to-side movement that actually can get to. So yes, you're still going to have contact. You might hear it a little bit being this so far back in the fifth wheel, and of course you're towing it. Probably not going to hear it at all. But just keep in mind, you will have a little bit of contact with your bikes, but with that nice little zip strip technology and that sway control that's in place, definitely going to be reducing the amount of contact we're going to have overall. So great little device there. And when you're removing it too, you guys saw how sometimes you kind of have to push that cradle out of the way to go ahead and get a little bit of room to work with on that vertical post. Well, pushing that cradle up helps us dismount that easy as well, as I simply just walk it right off. And there we are, ready to ride at our destination. Mounting it becomes just as easy. The only thing to watch out for, of course, is when you are loading up all 4 bikes, to go ahead and start appropriately spacing out your handlebars if you can, and take a look at your gear housing too. Make sure you're not interacting too bad. Can definitely make for a not so clean mounting procedure. However, if we're taking a little bit of time and care, we're going to have no trouble getting all 4 bikes up on this bad boy. Well, one thing we do need to keep in mind is how much length we're extending, right? The fifth wheel already somewhat of a large receptacle, so let's go ahead and see exactly what we're working with here today. So from the rear of my bumper here today, let me go ahead and set that right there for ourselves, guys. That is going to be putting me right at 41.5 inches at our most there for ourselves, guys. So definitely going to be a little length to consider here, right? But we do have 4 bikes on this guy, and we can go ahead and quickly shorten it down. The trigger control lever right here is just simply going to get pulled towards me. That's going to go ahead and let my arms swing down into this locked position, and that's going to save us a ton of room. Of course, you're going to have to do that without the bikes on there. Don't want your bikes crashing in and taking any damage. But we can go ahead and see now from the bumper here to the very end. Let's go ahead and pull that as extended as we can. Looks like that's going to be putting you at 14.5 inches if you're taking into account for those zip strips being on there. So definitely shaving down a lot of that room. Only about a foot or so being extended from the back here of our fifth wheel, which is great. And you guys can see too, if you guys do have any kind of spare tire carriers, anything like that, you have plenty of room in the spacing. Let me go ahead and give that to you guys really quickly here. Looks like you got about right around 13.5 inches up into this point, so about a whole foot between here is great. If you guys do have anything like this on the back of your fifth wheel, you do have the little room to work with to have those accessories on there as well. Well, we're moving our way down to the bottom here. We've already kind of talked about this plate. Again, that does a great job of just giving us that nice solid support, making sure we're going to have no trouble getting our bikes to our destination safely. On the inside here, you are seeing we are utilizing our 2-inch shank, utilized by our 2-inch hitch receiver here today. On the inside, we do have a threaded anti-rattle hitch bolt here. Now, these guys are very standard across the industry, but you love to see them. As I give this guy a shake, you can see it's actually shaking the entirety of the fifth wheel. That means we're all in line with one system, making for a nicer, smoother ride for ourselves, our bike rack, and our bikes, which is great. Again, cutting down any of that shake and play is really going to be helpful, especially on your hanging style bike racks, as you're going to remove a little bit of that contact between your bikes, which can really go a long way. Overall, guys, I think the long haul is going to be your first choice of actually getting a 4-bike rack carrier on the back of your fifth wheel. It's tested and rated and ready to go for any kind of heavy-duty application like this you're going to have. Again, some of the other carriers, they are rated for it. However, this guy is designed for this guy, and it's what it's going to do extremely, really well. So, anyways, I think that about does it for our look at the Yakima LongHaul here today on our Grand Design Reflection fifth wheel. I'm Bobby. Thank you for watching.